Sri Lanka is not only the country where the tsunami hit, or the country with a civil war. It's an island with a halo of adventures. It has had various colourful names, such as Serendib and Ceylon. Along the coast, in the highlands and the jungle, there are many unknown wonders, which are about to be shown to us by director and actor Felix Premawardhana. Compared to the surface area, there are probably more gems in Sri Lanka than in any other country. In the ancient capital, Anuradhapura, you can find a Buddhist temple, a dagoba or a stupa. Its shape represents the movement of energy in the universe. On top of this temple lies a gem weighing 18 kilograms.
I remember when I was a small boy, maybe 60 years ago, my father brought me here to see the pinnacling of this dagaba, the stupa. You see right on top a beautiful crystal. That was the pinnacling ceremony of this dagaba. He brought me here and there were thousands and thousands of people, and that crystal there was beautifully, extremely beautifully shining. I said, what is that? Is that a piece of glass or what? Then he said it was a gem. And then he told me that this country is full of gems. And he said, look, we have a whole city of gems called Ratnapura. And he said, one day you will go and see all these things because that is very close to my own village. This is how I began to be interested in gems.
The distance from Anuradhapura to Ratnapura is more than 300 kilometers.
We are now on our way to Ratnapura, the city of gems. Ratnapura means city of gems. This is the place where you have, in the ancient days they thought all the gems were in Ratnapura, but now they have discovered that it is all over the country. You find gems everywhere.
Most of the mines are in the jungle. Some are above the ground, some are deep tunnels below. The tunnels are very dangerous. They often collapse and are filled with water, just like this one, as it's partly situated underneath a river. A few weeks earlier, in a mine nearby, 4 men died in a cave-in.
So we are here at a gem pit now. I told you, my father used to take me to various places when I was a young boy. This is so different from what we have seen those days. My father's time, there were pits built, dug really, and then water seeps into it and you pump out the water. Not this way, but we had a special thing called andia, where you put a plank and in the middle you stand it on a small stand and 2 buckets are tied on either side of the plank. And a boy runs up. When it runs up, the plank goes down, the water from there comes up in that bucket. And it is emptied immediately and the boy runs back and the other side comes up and the water is taken out. So he runs up and down like that and the water is pumped out, pulled out very fast in buckets. Today it is so different. You just put a pump and switch on and you get the water out easily. This is a more modernized, more advanced, technically advanced mine because you have all this machinery to pump out the water and to pump in oxygen into the pit. They go right down. Now this is down about 30 feet deep at least, and then it goes into various directions. When it goes to directions, they build the the tunnel very, very carefully. They take pieces of timber and fit them. No nail is driven. And in order to prevent the sides of the wall coming down, they put a thing called kakil, or known as bracken, a herb that will stand against the soil and it will not break into the tunnel. Then when they go right down, they take candles with them in order to check the quality of air. And then when the Illama is found, Illama is the crust where the gem is found, they still use only the candle. Not because of anything else, but if they have more powerful lights, people can see gems, and the result would be they can take it and rob it. So in order to prevent that, they still work with candles so that they only see the crust and they collect it and bring it forth. Those people who are working there are the people who manage the machines, but in real fact, about 5 or 6 people are down in the tunnel already, and they go right in and do all the work there. Whenever they have to talk to the people up there, they have a tube, a small tube that comes right up here, and talk to that tube. Through that they get the message across. You have to continuously pump water out like this. Otherwise what happens is that the thing gets filled and people can't go in and do anything at all.
This is probably the best museum for precious stones in Sri Lanka. Some of the finest and most valuable stones are part of the museum's treasures, owned by Mr. Nimal Patirana. After a security inspection, we got to see some of these treasures.
Now, I was born in January. What's my stone?
Your stone is garnet. You are very lucky. Now, this is the crystal of the garnet, perhaps the largest found in Sri Lanka or in the whole world.
Is that right?
Yes, it's about 2.5 kilos weighing.
Yes, it is heavy.
It is. Now, if you wear this stone according to your month of birth, it will bring you all success in life.
This stone?
No, this
Oh,
one,
I
yes,
see.
Convenient one. Not only that, it protects you from all imminent trouble and danger and gives you success and happiness throughout your life.
Really? Now, Sunil, tell me, what is that stone?
This is topaz, pink topaz.
Is it a very valuable stone?
Yes, very valuable. It's about 2 million rupees.
Is that right?
Yes.
And in this museum, will it be the best one?
It's the second best one.
Second best, huh?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Now, this was accidentally found, or was it found in the mine?
Not accidentally, it's in the mine.
Oh, I see. And you said there were many colors at that time?
Yeah, white, blue, pink.
Oh, I see. Mr. Nimal Patirana, මේ ගල රත්නපුරේට ඇවිදින් කොච්චර කාලයක්ද?
පොන්නම අරන් අවුරුදු 10ක් විතර 10 years ago.
කරුණාකරලා වඩ පිට මිනිස්සු කතා කරන්න එපා. ඒවා මේ පටිගත වෙනවා. දැන් මේ හිල් හේම තියෙන්නේ මේ බෑන්ඩ්
ඒ කියන්නේ ස්ටෝන් එකේ ඝනත්වයට කියන්නේ ශක්තිමත් කමට හැදිච්ච නැචරල් දෙයක්.
එතකොට මේක මේ sapphire family
එකට අයිති කළා ස්ටෝන් එක.
එහෙනම් බොහොම වටිනාකම
වැඩි.
Mr. Nimal Patirana මම හිම නම කියන විශේෂයෙන් දැනගන්න ඕනේ නිසා. මේ වල විකුණනවා නම් විකුණන්න මම කල්පනාවක් නැහැ.
අත් වශයෙන් මේක මියුසියම් පීස් එකක් පමණයි. කියන්නේ විකුණන්න මියුසියම් එකකට ඇරෙන්න කවුරුත් ගන්නේ නැහැ. මේක මියුසියම් පීස් එකක් පමණයි.
මේක කොච්චර බලයිද?
46 kilos.
46 kilos. මට බැරි දුස්සන්ද? ආවේ නේද? හරි අමාරුයි. එතකොට මේක හදිස්සියේ නියම මැණිකක් හැම වුණා නම් කොහොමද ගන්න? නගින්ද?
More than billion.
Billion. $1 billion වලට වැඩිය. Oh, I see. අනිත් එක මේ ගලේ මේ shape එක ආවේ කොහොමද?
natural pattern හැටි.
ස්වාභාවිකම
pattern හැටි.
ඉතින් පතිරණ මහත්මයාට මේ ගැන බොහොම ආඩම්බරයි නේද මේක?
ඔව්. මේ මියුසියම් එකේ තියෙන වටිනාම ගලක් තමයි මේක.
Oh, I see. අනිත් එක මේ මුළු ලෝකෙම මේ වගේ වෙන ගලක් නැහැ.
වෙන ගලක් ඇත්තෙම නැහැ. මේක තමයි තියෙන එකම stone එක.
A picture doesn't do justice to these precious stones. They weigh more than 4 kilograms each. The next day, our journey continued. Felix told us that our next destination is unique, but it was deep in the jungle, and the walk there would be rough. The weather didn't look promising. However, as we started our journey towards the illegal mines, the sun did come out.
We are now on our way to a rather unusual place, to an illicit gem pit. Isn't that interesting? Shall we?
After a short walk, we encountered our first illegal mine. But it was too close to habitation to be very rich in gems. Usually, the richest mines are deep in the vast jungle. According to the law in Sri Lanka, you need a permit for a mine. Despite this, there are plenty of illegal ones in the jungle where men try to find livelihood for themselves and their families. And maybe to find that big one that would make life so much easier. The proceeds of the mines are shared traditionally and justly, even in illegal mines. The first leg of our journey was a road, and our steps were still light and our spirits high. We were talking about jungles and the unique wildlife of Sri Lanka, the strange felines, dozens of different snakes, and, of course, the elephants. Then it started to rain. On our way to the mines, crossing rivers was barely manageable. Finally there. But during heavy rain, there was no going into the mine, so we spent time chatting and drinking tea.
This is a very big jungle, is it?
Yes.
Any wild animals here?
Mama, mukudan satya mukada hitiyagi milangdi sati. Kola diya. Kind of like tigers.
Yeah, that's මොරගම් කරනවා මේ
හොර කැටිය හොර කැටිය
හොරගස් ඉස්සර වනාන්තරේ හැබැයි දැන් මුතිදි වනාන්තරේ වගේ තමයි
කිසිම වෙනසක් නැහැ. ගස් ටික අඩු විතරයි.
ඔය උතුරන්නේ
ඔව්.
In the morning, the rain finally faded, which made it possible for us to go to the mine. But as a true Sri Lankan, Felix could not leave without his morning tea. It was wet, and in the distance we could hear thunder. There was a constant buzzing in the air. Cicadas and other small animals in the jungle were performing their concerts. We were told by the men that in this weather, bigger animals don't like to move and insects don't fly. The rain brought many different scents in the air, rotten plants and pungent leaves. The magnificent jewels we see in crowns and jewellery are very difficult to produce. During the digging and sieving, you can rarely hear anyone talking.
When you look at these gem pits, you can't believe such beautiful stones are found in them. But do you know that King Solomon sent a delegation to Sri Lanka? It was called Serendib then, to collect gems to decorate the crown of Queen of Sheba. In order to woo her, that is what he did. Also in Arabian Nights it is said that Sinbad the sailor happened to come to Sri Lanka after shipwreck, and then he went to Ratnapura, and there he found huge stones of very great value, huge gems. Isn't that wonderful?
Underneath the mine there was an Illama, a layer of rubble that had been enriched with precious stones by the flowing current. The tool the men use is a combination of a pan and a strainer. Women sell them along the roads, and they're not too expensive. Although there's always a manager at the mines, the working men are partners. The special skill of the manager is to spot precious stones from the rubble at one glance. Every now and then, the manager found a stone from the shifted rubble. As a safety deposit, they used a piece of bamboo.
මේ ඇල අයිනේ ඔක්කොම ටිකට මැණික් හම්බුණා. උද්ද ගල්, ෂේප් ගල්, ඒ කියන්නේ පළදු දෝෂ අඩුයි ගල් වල. පොඩි ගල් ලස්සනයි. දැන් කැපිලා ඉවරයි. ඒ මොන જાතිද හම්බුනේ?
ඉතින් මෙහෙම උඩ පොඩ උඩ යන්න ඕනේ.
ඔව්. දැන් මේ උඩ පොඩ්ඩක් ඉන්නම වෙනස්.
We came in bad weather. We hope to be able to go back in very good weather. But you see how good the weather is? It's pouring, not raining, it's pouring.
We couldn't stay long. We had brought only a small amount of food and our clothes were soaking wet. Finally, the rain faded enough for us to begin our journey back. This time, our steps weren't as light. During the rain, the surface of the rivers had lifted. It was far from easy to walk against the current on the river bottom slippery rocks.